Ever found yourself snapping at someone or feeling unusually irritated and wondered, why am I always triggered? If you've ever asked yourself this question, then you're in the right place, my friend. Because today, we're going to dive deep into the phenomenon of being triggered. Now let's get our definitions straight first. When we talk about being triggered, we're referring to an emotional reaction to a situation or comment that seems unusually strong, often irrational and out of proportion to what's actually happening. It's like an emotional landmine that you didn't even know was there, until someone unwittingly steps on it. And then, boom! Suddenly you're in the throes of an emotional explosion and you're left wondering, where did that come from? This happens to all of us from time to time, but if you find yourself constantly being triggered, it can start to feel like you're walking around in a minefield, never knowing when the next explosion might occur. It can leave you feeling exhausted and out of control. But here's the good news. Understanding our triggers is the first step to managing them. Just like a detective, we can learn to recognize the clues that tell us a trigger is nearby. We can start to understand why certain situations or comments set us off, and once we understand our triggers, we can begin to disarm them. Think of it like this. If you were walking in a minefield, wouldn't you want to know where the mines were? Of course you would. You'd want to know so you could avoid them. The same principle applies to our emotional triggers. By understanding them, we can learn to avoid those emotional explosions. So why do we get triggered? Well, it's usually because something has touched a hidden wound or fear inside of us. It's like poking a bear. The bear might have been perfectly peaceful until you poked it, but once you did, watch out. Just imagine, wouldn't life be so much smoother if you could control these emotional outbursts? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into understanding the root of the problem in our next scene. So, where do these triggers come from? Why do certain situations make us react so strongly? Let's dive into the mysterious depths of our minds to uncover the origin of these triggers. Often they are like seeds planted deep within our past experiences or unresolved issues. These seeds can lay dormant for years, only to sprout into a full-blown emotional reaction when the right conditions are met. A seemingly harmless comment, a familiar smell, or even a particular tone of voice can be enough to water these seeds and bring them to life. Our minds are like intricate mazes, with each turn and twist shaped by the experiences we've had. These experiences, especially the ones that have had a profound impact on us, leave an imprint on our psyche. This imprint forms the foundation of our triggers. When we encounter a situation that is similar in some way to these profound experiences, our brains make a connection. It's like a switch being flipped, and our emotions are the electricity that surge forth. Now let's talk about our brains. They are wired to protect us, to keep us safe from perceived threats. This is a survival mechanism that has been with us since the dawn of mankind. When we face a perceived threat, our brains kick into high gear, activating what is known as the fight or flight response. This response is what causes our hearts to race, our palms to sweat, and our minds to race with thoughts. Emotional triggers are essentially the brain's way of sounding an alarm. When we're triggered, it's our brain saying, hey, this situation is similar to that one time when you were hurt. I'm going to help you avoid that pain again. It's our brain's way of trying to protect us from experiencing the same pain or discomfort that we've felt in the past. So, it's not your fault that you're triggered, it's just your brain trying to protect you. But the beauty of our brains is that they are not set in stone. They are malleable, adaptable, and capable of change. We can work on rewiring our brains, on changing how we react to these triggers, but we can work on that, can't we? Now that we know why we get triggered, how can we identify our triggers? Well, the key to unlocking this mystery lies in awareness and self-reflection. It's about peeling back the layers of your emotional reactions to find the root cause. And you know what? You're totally capable of doing this. One practical way to start is by keeping a journal. No, it doesn't have to be a fancy leather-bound one. A simple notebook or a digital app will do just fine. The idea is to jot down situations or events that spark strong emotional responses in you. It could be anything, from a heated conversation with your boss, to that annoying traffic jam on your way to work. Write down what happened, how you felt, and how you reacted. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns. Maybe you'll notice that you often feel triggered when you're under a lot of stress, or when someone criticizes you. These patterns are your triggers. They're like emotional tripwires, causing you to react in ways you might not like. But hey, don't beat yourself up. We all have triggers. It's a human thing. The important part is that you're taking steps to identify them. It takes courage to look inward and be honest with yourself. You're doing a great job. Remember, self-reflection isn't about judging or blaming yourself. It's about understanding yourself better so you can navigate life with more ease and less stress. Identifying your triggers is the first step towards managing them. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. We've identified our triggers. Now, how do we manage them? Well, the first step is understanding that managing triggers is not about eliminating them, but learning to respond to them differently. Think of it like learning a new language. It takes time and practice. One effective technique is deep breathing exercises. When you start to feel triggered, stop whatever you're doing. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a few seconds, then exhale slowly. Repeat this a few times until you feel calmer. This helps to reset your body's stress response and can give you the mental space needed to respond differently to the trigger. Next, we have mindfulness. This involves staying present and aware of your thoughts and feelings without judging them. It's about observing your triggers and your reactions to them, rather than getting swept up in the emotions. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is another valuable tool. This form of therapy helps you understand the connection between your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It can help you reframe your thoughts about your triggers and develop healthier responses to them. Remember, it's okay to seek professional help if your triggers are causing significant distress. Therapists and counselors are trained to help you navigate these challenges. Remember, managing your triggers is a journey, not a destination. But with patience and persistence, you can definitely make progress. So keep going, keep practicing, and keep believing in your capacity to manage your triggers. You've got this.